welcome to our show. Today, we're thrilled to have a special guest joining us, Sadie, a senior security analyst at GeeTest. How are you doing today, Sadie?
Hi, Haley. It's going great. Thanks for having me here today. I'm excited to be here.
So, before we dive into today's topic, let me ask you something first. Do you remember the time you tried to sign up for an account on a website and you got stuck on the CAPTCHA screen, trying to figure out if that blurry image was a traffic light or a pedestrian crossing? That's a pretty common experience, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been there many times myself.
It can be truly frustrating for users. But we also know that CAPTCHA plays an important role in keeping websites and users safe. So our focus for today is how to balance the security and the user experience of CAPTCHA. To start off, Sadie, could you brush upon our memory of CAPTCHA? How has it evolved over the years?
Sure. CAPTCHA was originally developed in the early 2000s to prevent automated bot attacks on websites. Back then, it was just a simple text-based or image-based tests. But as bots became more sophisticated, CAPTCHA evolved to include audio and video challenges, as well as the more recent CAPTCHAs, which use machine learning to analyze user behavior and determine the likelihood of a bot.
That's really interesting. However, we also know that user experience can be vital for websites and apps for today to succeed. Why is that so important?
Well, as you know, there are a ton of websites and apps out there. The internet is a vast and competitive space, and users have a lot of choices. So, if they encounter a frustrating experience with CAPTCHA or anything else, they might just give up and move on to a different platform. Plus, user experience is directly tied to a website or app's success, and in turn, revenue. So it's definitely something that companies prioritize.
Well, that makes sense. On the other hand, the number of malicious bots out there is growing, right?
Yes, actually. According to a report by Imperva, bot traffic accounted for 42.3% of all web traffic in 2021, and over 65% of that traffic was from bad bots. That's a pretty significant increase from previous years.
Wow, that's a lot. So with all these malicious bots out there, it's no wonder why CAPTCHA is necessary. But at the same time, we know that CAPTCHA can be a frustrating experience for users. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, definitely. So, CAPTCHA is a necessary evil in many cases. On the one hand, it helps to prevent malicious activity and protect the website from spam and abuse. But on the other hand, it can be a real pain for users, and it can negatively impact the user experience.
Yes, that's definitely the tension we're talking about. So, how can we make CAPTCHA better to improve the user experience while still maintaining its security benefits?
Well, there are a few ways. One approach is to focus on developing CAPTCHA accessibility, which is making sure that people with disabilities or other limitations can still easily complete the CAPTCHA challenge. There are also innovative solutions like biometric authentication and machine learning-based CAPTCHAs that can help improve the user experience.
That's interesting. Can you tell us more about these newer solutions?
Sure. So, biometric authentication CAPTCHAs use things like fingerprint or facial recognition, to verify that a real person is completing the CAPTCHA. This can be a lot less annoying for users than having to click on a bunch of pictures or type in distorted letters and numbers. But this is still a relatively new technology, and not all devices support this authentication. Additionally, biometric authentication may raise privacy concerns for some users, so it's not widely used now. And meanwhile, machine learning-based CAPTCHAs are getting better at both accuracy and the user experience. The cool thing about machine learning-based CAPTCHAs is that They are getting really good at telling the difference between humans and bots without making users jump through a bunch of hoops. So people don't have to spend as much time and energy proving that they are not a bot, which makes for a better user experience. Plus, these kinds of CAPTCHAs can help reduce false positives, where real people get mistakenly flagged as bots and get locked out of a site or service. GeeTest CAPTCHA is machine learning based. We use algorithms to analyze how people behave on their site and figure out if they are human or bot. And we recently rolled out this new feature called GeeTest One Tap, which is basically an invisible CAPTCHA. All you have to do is click a button to show that you are a human. It's pretty slick.
That sounds really promising. So what do you think is the best solution for balancing the need for security with a positive user experience at the same time?
Well, I think the best solution is one that minimizes disturbance to users while still providing enhanced protection against sophisticated bots. That's why I myself am a big fan of GeeTest One Tap. It's much less disruptive than other CAPTCHAs, but still provides strong security against automated attacks.
That's great to hear. So it sounds like the future direction of CAPTCHA technology is really focused on finding that balance between security and user experience, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The goal is to create a CAPTCHA that's as user-friendly as possible while still being effective at preventing bots and spam. One way is to improve accessibility. CAPTCHA can be particularly difficult for users with disabilities, So there have been efforts to improve it, like the use of audio and the visual challenges. And there are also ways to make the user experience less disruptive, like minimizing the number of challenges or using solutions like GeeTest One Tap.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insight on this. It's clear and there's a lot of work being done to make CAPTCHA better for everyone.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So that's for today's episode, and thanks to our listeners who I hope had an equally enjoyable time. If you love the show, follow us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. Till next time, bye!